I became fluent in Spanish in 8 months, but one of the main things that I struggled with, especially at the start, was understanding the different pronouns. It was something that really frustrated me because just understanding the different ways to deploy them and how people would use them differently, and even being able to understand natives when they were speaking and using the different pronouns was a struggle for me, especially when I was trying to sit down and study them all the time, which is what a lot of us initially think the best thing to do is. But I did come across a more efficient way of doing it, a more efficient or more natural way of acquiring and mastering these pronouns within their natural context. And in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly how I did it so you can do a similar thing. Because if not, if you are just constantly studying these pronouns, what will probably happen is you'll also lead to that. You also get that feeling of frustration, and you probably won't make as much progress as you think you will. Now, on the flip hand, there are people that will say, okay, just completely forget about grammar and you'll just pick it up naturally. And whilst I do understand that premise, I am someone that's a big fan of immersion, big fan of the whole comprehensible input world. I think there is a bit more of a nuance to it. I think you can strike a balance, and that's what I'm going to be explaining in this video. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name's Jonathan. I started learning Spanish through immersion in February 2021. And I set myself the goal that I wanted to become fluent by November because that's when my birthday is, and I wanted to do a trip to Spain and just speak to people in Spanish. And I actually accomplished it. So I had a trip. I went to Madrid. I actually documented it on my Instagram story, so you can have a look if you want to. Then I also went to Barcelona, enjoyed myself there. And yeah, it was some good times. And then since then, I've also done a few interviews in Spanish, just explaining the process I went through. So this is the interview I did with Pablo from Dream in Spanish. And I also did an interview with Mike Ben. Big shout out to those guys who were very, very instrumental in my process of learning Spanish. But you know, the main thing to stop doing, if you are doing, is to stop trying to force yourself to learn these pronouns in a more structured way as we would do when we're kind of in school before. And the reason why I say that is because what I found is that when it comes to studying, especially at the beginner stage, although it helps us to feel busy and it helps us to feel like, okay, great, I'm doing something in Spanish. A lot of the times it actually isn't the most productive thing to do. And the reason why it isn't the most productive thing to do is because what I found is that the way that language learning works is that it's a lot like just developing a relationship with a language. So let's say we wanted to become fluent in Spanish. That's really just getting to the point where you have a deep, intimate, personal relationship with Spanish. And the number one task that you can do to develop a deeper relationship with anyone, not just like Spanish, but like if it was actually a person, is to spend more quality time with them. Okay, so what we really just want to be doing is spending quality time with Spanish. And what will happen is naturally we'll start to pick up some of these tendencies of Spanish. Of, for example, let's say you're getting to know someone in person. The more quality time you spend with them, you'll start to understand, okay, this is what they say, this is what they don't say, this is what they like, this is what they don't like. If we go to this restaurant, they'll probably eat this, they won't eat this, this is what their family's like. And then you'll start to understand how they will act in certain circumstances, which is exactly what we do to be able to speak Spanish fluently and also to be able to understand Spanish when natives speak, right? So once we understand that, you know, the temptation is to say, okay, great. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to immerse myself and do like a lot of input, and I'm going to learn all of this stuff naturally. And to be fair, a lot of it you will learn naturally. But the challenge is it will take a long time. It will take a long time. And, you know, immersion and acquiring grammatical concepts, especially when they're concepts that you haven't even comprehended through your natural language. So through your native language. So for example, there are certain grammatical concepts or the certain ways that pronouns work in Spanish that if you're like a native English speaker like me, you won't even know that that could be a possibility, which would hinder or at least just slow down your ability to recognize those patterns. And so how do we strike the balance? How do we strike the balance and make sure that we are still being able to master these pronouns quickly, but doing so in a way where we're still prioritizing spending quality time with the language? Well, this is where my 3-step, like the way I realized that a lot of the time I was picking up these grammatical concepts, not just pronouns, but grammar in general, it came under this 3-step kind of formula or this 3-step process. Okay. Now, initially, as I mentioned, I'd go onto websites like Spanish Dictionary, I'd pull up pronouns, I'd see all of these different types of pronouns and say, okay, great. So what I need to do is I need to just go through all of these lessons. And once I go through all of these lessons, I'll know all the pronouns and excellent, I'll be fluent. But it doesn't work like that, as you can imagine. Um, and the reason being is because it's kind of like if we go back to our analogy of getting to know someone, when you go through all of these stuff and you learn all of these different types of relative and direct and object and subject pronouns, it's kind of just like learning facts about the person, which is great. Sometimes you will need the facts about the person, but for the most part, that won't directly translate into an intimate relationship or a deep relationship with a person. Now, with that being said, the first step is to acknowledge that these facts exist. Okay. The first step is to acknowledge and accept that, okay, it looks like there are a few different types of pronouns. Looks like we have something called like a direct and indirect object pronoun. We've got the subject pronouns. Looks like we've got some reciprocal pronouns. We've got some impersonal ones. Now, I don't have to know all of these at the start, but I feel like, especially in my case, it helps to, or even reflexive verbs and pronouns, it helps us sometimes just have an idea that these things exist. Okay, now I'm not going to go through this lesson right now, and I wouldn't even necessarily recommend going through lessons. The main thing is to reach a point, whether that's through your immersion, whether that's you actually going out and being like, you know what, I'm interested in grammar. Let me just find a Spanish overview. I'm sure if you go on YouTube and type Spanish pronouns explained, it will show you some videos that will give you a decent overview of how pronouns work in Spanish. And the point isn't to try and learn it right away. The point isn't to try and say, okay, I need to now be able to understand how to use all of these pronouns in real time. That's actually the third step. And that's after you can even use them. The point is to just to get to the point where you can acknowledge and accept that this exists. And the reason why I say accept, which is very important, is because when I was first starting out learning Spanish, I would really wrestle with some of the concepts and be like, why would I don't get it? It doesn't make sense. Like, why would you say, uh, tengo que, okay, why would I say, te lo voy a contar? And why would I put the you at the start of the sentence, if that makes sense? Like, why would I not put the you at the end? It's like it doesn't make sense to me. I don't get why we would do that. Or even just simple things like conjugations. Why would we change the word at the end to, like, these are things where I'd actually genuinely struggle to accept and be like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. But I think that the sooner you can accept this, the sooner you can allow your mind to start to pick up the patterns and start to be able to recognize where the different types of pronouns get deployed. Okay, so the first step is once we acknowledge and we accept, okay, these are some of the pronouns. So it looks like we're going to have some reflexive pronouns. Looks like we're going to have some direct ones. I might even watch a video explaining, okay, this is the difference between this one and that one. Not a problem. The main thing we want to do from there is now getting a lot of quality time with Spanish, watching a lot of content, getting a lot of input. Hopefully, if we can make the input as comprehensible as possible, and you can use websites or channels like Dream in Spanish to do so. But what we're going to now start to do, now that we've accepted and we've acknowledged that these pronouns exist, is we're going to allow our brain to naturally recognize the different scenarios in which these different pronouns are used. Okay. Now, if we've got a rough idea of, okay, it looks like there's probably like a lo, la, les, something, something, something. I think there's probably like a nos, os, les, algo, okay. I'm hearing te cuento, nos cuenta. Okay, great. So I'm starting to get a little bit of a rough picture of some of the different types. I don't need to sit down and really like study all of them. But once I'm there, with the input, what I'm going to start seeing is it's almost like a puzzle. Those little puzzle pieces that I've acknowledged that exist, with time, they're going to start placing themselves in the different holes mentally of where they need to go in terms of when do these individual pronouns get utilized. And with time, what my brain is going to be able to do is my brain's going to be able to know, okay, this sounds like a situation where I need to say, te cuento. This sounds like a situation where I need to say, nos están contando. Or this sounds like a situation where I'd need to say, okay, os voy a contar, right? And that just comes from the repeated input. Now, it sounds a bit like kind of wishy-washy, like, oh, wow, does that really just happen? Like, how can I just not do anything and it's gonna come? Yeah, it does. But the reason why it does is because, and the reason why it happens quicker for me, at least in my case, is because I did expose myself to these concepts. Like, it wasn't like I was just in the wilderness watching and then okay, all of a sudden I can understand the pronouns. I kind of had a rough idea of, okay, there are some pronouns that exist. And then when I'm hearing them, I can say, okay, that sounds like one of the ones I was listening to before. It looks like in this context they've used um, te hablo luego, o hablamos, sí, hablo contigo, de hecho, te hablo o te lo cuento luego, for example. I was like, okay, cool, that looks like one of those situations. Now, what you'll find is, in the process of immersing yourself, you will then find new grammatical structures. So, for example, you might now come across the reflexive verbs, which kind of hide themselves as a pronouns. You can get confused, or like, you know, how you would have to say, oh, me gusta mucho, or me gusta esta camiseta. Excellent. That then changes the way that everything kind of works, and it will mess up the whole thing. But the whole point is you do it again. So you go back to, okay, I acknowledge the fact that it seems like there's some of these reflexive verbs that sometimes get used, and I have to know when to use that. And then on top of that, we then go to, all right, with time, with input, we then start to be able to notice the patterns of when these get deployed. Now, the good news is this pattern recognition system, this pattern recognition ability is something that we've already downloaded at birth. Like, we already have it. All we have to do now is turn it on for Spanish. Okay. And that happens with time. It does take time to do. You'll have to get hours of input. However, at least when you do it in this way, what will then happen is you're then acquiring these pronouns in their natural context, which means that when it now comes to native speaking in real time, you will know, because you've learned it in context, the meaning much quicker. Like, you'll be able to identify, okay, if somebody says something, okay, I know what that means. And also, when you want to speak, you'll be able to use it quickly and identify which ones to use quickly as well. Okay. Now, notice, I don't necessarily, to be able to use these patterns correctly, I don't necessarily need to understand exactly like how all of the grammar works. I don't necessarily need to understand exactly, okay, this is the direct object pronoun, this is the reflexive. I don't necessarily need to understand the exact, or like even understand or be able to explain exactly the difference between each one. Like, for example, if we go back to this pronouns list that I was showing you guys, I wouldn't even necessarily be able to specifically tell you every single type of pronoun on this list, but I'm fairly confident that, for example, as I speak right now, what is a reciprocal pronoun? Okay, cool. Nos, os, se. I didn't even know that that was called reciprocal pronouns. But these are things that I've come across in context. So if you want me to have a conversation using this, I can do that, no problems. And so the third stage, which you can actually do yourself, like this sometimes will come naturally, but if you want to, you can research after, and now will make more sense. Like, the third stage is the understanding stage. So if you now want to come back and look at these lessons and you want to reinforce the patterns that your brain has already started to recognize, and you're coming through these lessons, now it makes a lot more sense than when you're at the beginner stage. Because now, if I was to go through these lessons, it would just make so much sense. I'll say, okay, yeah, it makes sense. Like, I've seen this pattern so many times. Now, when you explain to me the rule, I'll be like, oh, okay, fair enough. What will also happen is that naturally you will start to understand some of these rules, just because of the sheer quantity of times that you've been exposed to it in different contexts. All right, but the point is, this is something that comes after. You don't necessarily have to jump to understanding all of these different pronouns from the start. From the start, you just need to acknowledge that they exist. Have a rough idea that, okay, it looks like there's a few different types. It looks like, depending on whom I'm speaking to, there's some different pronouns. And with time, I'll be able to recognize these patterns. And then after that, if I want to, I can go and sit down and study them. That is how I approach grammar in all cases, right? In all cases. And what I find is that in doing so this way, number one, it's much faster. Number two, it's much easier. And number three, it's a lot more effective for me, because I'm focusing on learning the grammar in context, right? In context. And one thing I found was that when it comes to grammar or pronouns or whatever it is that you're trying to learn, that you're struggling with, I realized that a lot of the times the problem isn't that you're not understanding it. The problem is you haven't been exposed to it enough in context for your brain to even piece together when it needs to be used and when it doesn't need to be used. Like, the way I see it and what I tell myself is, okay, it's not that I don't understand this. It's just that I haven't yet exposed myself to it enough times in context. If I'd done that, / when I do that, this will make a lot more sense to me. Okay. Now, the bonus tips for you guys in this video is, how do we then start speaking and using these in real-time conversations. Because what will happen is, even once you learn all of this stuff from an input perspective, meaning once you've learned all of this stuff from the angle of being able to understand when it is spoken, we then need to strengthen the pattern recognition. And also, we need to practice recalling these patterns when it comes to speaking. And so, what I'd recommend when it comes to doing this is understanding that this will take practice. This will take time. The first time you do it, you will make mistakes, and that's okay. But the more input you have, the stronger the pattern recognition, the more that some of these pronouns will jump at you when you want to speak. You'll know, okay, I need to say this one. And when you do make mistakes, you'll have enough of a pattern recognition system in your mind to recognize, oh, that doesn't sound right. And that's the key thing. It's not necessarily making mistakes, but it's being able to detect that, I don't know if that sounds right. I don't know if that sounds right. And especially if you have friends like that are natives. And with me now, I have my partner who's Spanish as well, which helps out a lot, a lot. But if you have someone that's native that you can speak to, who can actually help you, or who can notice some of these mistakes that you're making, not necessarily say every time be like, oh, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. But it's someone that you can feel free to express yourself and make mistakes too. That's going to help out a lot, because even though you understand it from the input side, it's then going to take a little bit of a deeper understanding on a subconscious level to be able to reproduce that when you're speaking as well. But at the end of the day, it's still the same concept. It's still the same 3 stages. We still need to acknowledge that it exists, accept that it exists. Then we need to allow ourselves to receive a lot of input in context so that we can start to recognize the patterns of when that specific pronoun is being deployed. And then from there, we can look at starting to understand. And that could be us going back to learn it and say, okay, let me actually sit down and understand this now. Now that I've recognized the patterns, let me actually sit down and understand the nuances. Or with time, sometimes that understanding just becomes clear and it makes sense. Okay, this is why I would use that in this case, because in another case, you'd use this. And this happens all the time throughout Spanish, throughout all the different grammatical concepts. Now, I hope that's helpful. If you are, by the way, if you are learning Spanish and you're looking to go to the next level, you're looking to optimize your immersion strategy so that you can break through any plateau. Like if you feel like, I've reached a point where I'm not really progressing as fast as I'd like to, and I probably need to optimize or relook at how I'm actually approaching language learning, and you'd like to do so with myself in a private group, feel free to click on the link in the description, and I'll see you in the next video.